Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in March. So March wasn't very successful. I only had one book that I rated 4 stars or more. Everything else was just subpar. Like 3 stars isn't bad, 3.5 isn't bad, but not my best. So I'll talk about those, but I also want to mention I have this goal that I've talked about a couple times, and I failed at that as well. The goals list, and I'll pop them up, are that I'm supposed to read 3 books from my physical TBR, 2 Kindle Unlimited books, and 1 Book of the Month book. I probably did the Kindle ones upon reflection, but I only read 1 physical book from my collection, and I read 3 KU books, which is fine, and I read 0 Book of the Month books. So let's go ahead and dive right into the books that I read. So the first book I finished in March was Luna and the Lie, which is by Mariana Zapata. I was still in my binging Mariana Zapata's backlist energy at that point. I haven't picked up another one in a minute. Yeah, I haven't picked up the next one only because I heard it might not be that good, but I think I put it on my April TBR. I don't remember. But anyway, I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Not terrible. So this book is about Luna and Rip. Luna is, I think, in her late 20s and Rip is in his early 40s, I'm pretty sure. Luna works at this like car mechanic shop and Rip is the co-owner with this older grandpa-aged gentleman. Luna works there because she has a difficult past. She ran away from home. She's been working there since she was 17. She's like a part of the family of that older gentleman that is the co-owner of the shop. Rip's been the other co-owner for maybe 5 years, and Luna's kind of had this crush on him, but they're just like button heads a bit. He's very grumpy, so she's never like done anything about it, and it's their romance. There's drama because people from her past come back into the picture. It's very, very slow burn. It was just okay. It was fine. I gave it a 3.5, so I must have liked aspects of it enough to not just give it a blatant 3, but I can't remember what those things could have been. That's all I have to say about that. The next book I read in March was Verity by Colleen Hoover. So I had to read this for my book club with my college friends. We were all on the basketball team together. We call it like Books and Buckets. It's like our group chat name. The way we're doing this book club is that everybody submitted recommendations and then our friend Ruth will pull it from a jar, like kind of like this. And we're like, oh, what are we gonna read, you know? And that's like not my favorite way to pick a book. My New York City book club, we just go off the vibe every month and we kind of just like brainstorm together and like whatever the group is in the mood for, and we have to agree that we'd be interested in reading it. This one kind of forces us to read books that not everybody's gonna like, which kind of sucks. And I mean, this group is bigger, like my New York City book club is just the 4 of us, now 5, maybe 6. Maybe a 6th is coming in. But for over a year, it was just 4 people. So it's easy enough to like come to an agreement. But the other group book club is a little bit bigger and we've got some like nonfiction lovers and I'm just like, oh. And Colleen Hoover lovers. So I gave this a try. One of my old colleagues lent me her copy, which was very nice. I was struggling with it in the beginning, but one night I just sat down on the couch and I was like, I'm gonna read this in one sitting. I probably had like 80% of the book left and I just powered through it. And I don't usually read that intensely unless it's like a really good slow burn. But I just wanted it to be over. I felt like I was being tortured. I ended up giving this book 1 star. I literally would have DNF'd it. I wouldn't have never picked it up if it wasn't for a book club requirement. I absolutely hated this book. So if you don't know anything about it, this book is about Lowen, who is a writer. She has been asked by this guy, Jeremy, to ghostwrite his wife, Verity's remaining books in her series. Like it's like a mystery or thriller, villain, in the head of a villain kind of series. And she agrees and she stays in their house to like go through Verity's stuff to try to like see if she can get inspiration for the remaining books. Verity is unable to write it because she's been in a car accident and she's just like too ill to complete it herself. She's bedridden, all this stuff. It's supposed to be like a thriller, scary book, kind of like unsettling. And it's also supposed to be like a romance. I don't fucking know. Because Colleen Hoover's other book that I read, It Ends With Us, is like a romance, but it's not a romance even though the characters are like falling in love and they're like in an abusive relationship. And this one also, it's like the characters are like into each other, but like it's not, it's gross. I hated it. It doesn't give me the warm fuzzy feelings a romance is supposed to give. Even like a dark romance, I'm like, oh my God, this is hot, this is fun. This, I was just like, ew. Especially because how am I supposed to be rooting for the relationship when Verity's upstairs bedridden and Jeremy's still married to her and like taking care of her? Like, how are you forming a romantic relationship with this random Lowen chick when your wife is upstairs? I hated him. I thought he was disgusting. And I thought Lowen was disgusting. She had disgusting thoughts. Her inner monologue I just found really icky and gross. And like, oh, I could throw up. Okay, so she doesn't find any manuscripts about the book, but she finds this like autobiography that Verity drafted, and that is like half the book. You're like reading this manuscript autobiography, and Lowen's learning that Verity's like this evil woman. So she feels kind of validated in stealing her husband. But then also she's like, Verity's not actually hurt, and she like keeps seeing Verity around and she's scared, right? I was a little scared for those things too. But the thing that makes me want to gag is that Verity's kind of kinky with certain things, and then Lowen would copy them. Like weird things. Okay, slight spoiler. Skip ahead a couple seconds if you don't want to know. When Verity wrote down that she would like bite the headboard, like the wooden headboard when they were having sex, when she was having sex with her husband. And then Lowen reads that and just like, oh, weird. And then she fucks the husband and then is biting the same spot in the headboard, like sees the teeth marks and is biting it. That is just, like, why are you like that? Nobody was likable in the book. So absolutely hated that. 1 star. Don't recommend. Skip it. Don't read it. Then I picked up Mating with the Mantis because my friend Sam said she was gonna read it. I don't even know if she made time to read it. It's like 20 pages. It's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, obviously you pick it up and you know it's gonna be ridiculous. So I wasn't like offended by that. Like it was giving what you would expect it to give. But basically it's this science woman who works with praying mantises in the lab, and she has some kind of weird sexual attraction to them. So the first time she like masturbated in front of a mantis, she like orgasmed as hard as she'd ever orgasmed in her life. And when she tried it again, she just couldn't reach that same high. So she had to keep upping the ante with these mantises. So she would like be in a bath full of mantises, or she would like have a human dress up as a mantis and then fuck him. Like it was very strange. And that was pretty much it. I mean, it keeps escalating, but it was ridiculous. I gave it 2 stars. If you want to read just something kooky as like a palate cleanser and like a giggle, why not? If you just want to be in the loop of like what goes on in a book like that, I wouldn't say don't do it. I mean, check it out. Why not? That's what I did. I should text Sam to see if she's read it or not. I know she's been really busy because it's tax season and she like works doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, she's been pretty swamped. I don't know if she got to it. But yeah, I picked it up because she said she might do it. And yeah, now my curiosity has been satisfied. Next, I read Golden Sun. This is the second book in the Red Rising saga. I gave this 4 stars. So this is the best read I had all month. I had listened to Red Rising via audio only, and I thought it was okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars, maybe bumped it up to 4 after having a fun conversation with Sam and Eliza. But this one I gave a true 4 stars because I read it with my eyeballs, and I felt like that improved my personal experience a lot because I could just really retain what was happening better. The action scenes were better for me, like things just hit harder, because sometimes when I'm like listening to action scenes, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting the gist of it, but like when I'm reading it with my eyeballs and I'm like, they chopped his head off and the guts, and I'm like, oh, like, I'm like paying attention, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed this one. I thought the expansion of the world and the scope of the story was well done. I thought the political maneuvering of our main character, Darrow, was very interesting. It does feel a little bit, I don't know, like overwhelming sometimes because you're like, how is he gonna tackle the issues of this society? So the gist of the series is that we have this society hierarchy that's based on color rank. So everybody's born into their colors. So they have like red, pink, silver, obsidian, gray, and gold. There's more than that, I think. green, yellow, but golds are the top, and they're physically stronger and larger, and they have access to more resources and technology than everybody else. They've been pretty much enslaving the low colors, so like the reds, who are miners, the obsidians, who are like these ginormous, beastly fighters, but they don't allow them to have any technology. They basically lie to them and say that the golds are gods and things like that. So they've been really evil as a class, and a revolution in the background has begun with these sons of Ares, and they're trying to dismantle the society. But because the golds are in so much power, it's been very difficult because they control the media. They basically call the Sons of Ares terrorists and all this stuff. So Darrow gets involved and went from a red and got physically transformed into a gold, and he's trying to dismantle them from the inside. It goes much further beyond that as the scope of the story evolves. I'm currently reading book 3. I'm like 32% of the way through. It's really interesting. I would say the series starts out pretty YA, but it becomes more adult as we progress. And Darrow ages up pretty quickly. Like even within the first book, by the end of it, I think he's probably 19. When he started out, it was like, well, maybe 18 or 19. Whereas in the beginning, he was 16. So yeah, a lot of time passes. Where I am in the third book, he's 23. And that was like blatantly said as well. So yeah, clearly he's an adult. I mean, he's a young adult, I guess. But usually when you think young adult, you think like teenagers. Really enjoying all the action and political maneuvering and cool space, sci-fi, fantasy aspects and stuff. I'd say it's sci-fi fantasy for sure. It's not like going into how things work as if it could be realistic. It's just like technology instead of magic. It's just the vibes of space war, you know? Really enjoyed the second book and had a fun time talking with Sam about it. And we actually were originally planning to have our live show on April 9th, but we've pushed it to April 16th tentatively right now because Sam was feeling a little bit under the weather, and I was like, girl, rest, take your time, and I could use the extra days to finish the book and not have to like binge it so hard. So yeah. Just FYI, if you were planning on joining that. I also read this book here, Dear God, Why Is It So Hard to Forgive? This is the second book in a series called the Dear God series by Amani. This is actually my IRL friend's book. I ended up giving this 3 stars. It is a direct continuation of the first book in the series, following our main character, Lydia, and how she's trying to forgive like her baby daddy and her coworker that has wronged her for a few years, and her grandmother kind of pushing her opinions on her, yada, yada, yada. And it's that story. I did enjoy the first one more just because I felt like the stakes were higher in the first one, and you could just feel the devastation of like this woman's situation. She's just like she works like in a restaurant. She's not making crazy money. She's a single mother. She's basically taking care of her like 10-year-old son and her grandmother on her own. In this one, she's in a bit of a love triangle. There's more romance in this one, and I think I also am a little bit more critical of romantic storylines. So that's probably why I ended up giving it 3, whereas the first one I'm pretty sure I gave a 4. The writing is still pretty strong, and I would recommend it if you're interested in a Christian-based story, but it's not like overly preachy or anything in my personal opinion. It feels like it's really all about Lydia's experience, and it's not like trying to tell you how you should feel or what you should believe. I'm slightly biased because it's my good friend's book, but I really am proud of her, and I think her writing is quite strong, and we'll see when her third book comes out. The second to last book I picked up and finished in March was Blood Moon by Gillian Graves. This is a paranormal romance between a witch woman and a vampire guy. This witch woman, she owns like a bar, and the vampire guy just opened like a club across the street from her, and they're competing with each other for customers. It's their romance. It's okay. It took me about a month to read this, and it's not that long. God, yeah, it's only like 113 pages. But I was just like a wee bit bored, but I pushed through. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was fine. The spice was okay. I mean, this is the type of book that I'm just reading for spice for the most part, and it was just all right. If you're looking for just like an easy, like witchy vampire book, like if it fills like a prompt for some kind of readathon, like this is a good option because it's quite short, but like it's not like one of my favorite paranormals. But the cover is gorgeous. The cover I really love. And also this heroine is a taller, curvy heroine. She was like over 6 feet tall, which is the first time I read a character of that stature, which I thought was interesting, like a female character of that height. So that was pretty cool. There's a bit of like mind melding, like he can kind of read her mind when he has her blood in his system. So if you're into that, like that's cool. But overall, it was just like a fine read. I wouldn't like overly recommend it, but it wasn't bad. And then the last book I finished in March was Hail Mary by Candy Steiner. This is the 4th book in her Red Zone Rivals series. I thought this was the last one in the series, so I was like, yeah, I'm finally caught up on the series. I can be done with it. No, there's a 5th one. So I'll have to go back and read the 5th one as well. I ended up giving this 3 stars. So this follows another of the football guys. This whole series follows a football player each. The heroine is a character we've met before. She lives across the street from like the football guy house. There's, I think, 4 people that can live in the house, and her apartment is having like water damage, mold issues, like a pipe burst, and this guy who has a crush on her, one of the football guys that lives in the house, offers for her to stay at their house over the summer while her apartment gets fixed up. And it's that story. But the thing is, Mary, the woman across the street, knows Leo, the guy that offered her to stay at their house, already. She knows him from high school. She was kind of like an ugly duckling back in the day, like whatever, quote unquote. She was a target for bullying and all this stuff, but she loved video games. So she gets, I don't know, like an Xbox or something. She signs up for the live account and she sees Leo, who's her age at the time, they're both in high school, online. She knows him, he plays football, he's popular. And she has a username, so he doesn't know who she is. Not that he would really know her from school anyway, because she was like so under the radar. They become like best friends online, and he's falling for her. She's falling for him, but she hasn't revealed her identity. He's like, when am I gonna be able to meet you? So school starts. This is like over the summer, they're falling in love, right? When they were high schoolers. And when school starts, she tries to confess to him who she is. She's like, I'm the girl that you're friends with online. She like tries to give him like a drawing or something. And he's like, who the fuck is this girl? And his high school friends are like, who is that ugly girl trying to talk to you? Which is horrible. So he's kind of like confused and he's like, I don't know who you are. She didn't really say who she was. She just like handed him this drawing of like the 2 of them and like a game console controller. And thought he would put the pieces together. Very high school coded to be like, you should know. Like, I'm not gonna tell you. You should just deduce it with, because it's obvious from this drawing I made you. Like, how do you not know it's me? It was that kind of energy. This is a little spoilery. But yeah, she already knows him. And she's pissed because she feels rejected. So she ghosted him after that. And he was heartbroken because he's like, where did that girl go? Like, I was obsessed with her, not realizing he had rejected her IRL. So it's them jumping forward in time. It's like Leo's senior year of college, I'm pretty sure. She doesn't go to the college. She's like an apprentice at a tattoo parlor. She's transformed herself. She's still a curvy woman, but she's like covered in these beautiful tattoos. I think she's got like colorful hair or something. She's got like a bunch of piercings. Like she's a BA, like she's badass. Like she does her makeup like so cool. So she's gorgeous. She attracts a lot of attention from people that find her attractive. Obviously Leo has attracted her, but he has no idea that they have a past, and it's that story. A little bit of forced proximity, obviously, because she's desperate for a place to stay. I enjoyed my time with it for the most part, though the conflict relied heavily on like miscommunication and her making a lot of assumptions about him and like hating him from a time when he was just a stupid teenager, even though he's changed a lot. And like, even if he doesn't know what he did, like he's like really good to her. And she's just being a bitch. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, just oversimplify, but, like, it was a lot of, like, opportunity for them to communicate better to resolve the issue. So the fact that it relied on bad communication or, like, secrets being kept lowered my rating. Because I'm not a secret keeper, okay? I don't keep secrets. And when people be keeping secrets that are unnecessary, I just can't relate. But I have been enjoying that series overall, so I will continue it. I do enjoy Candy Signer's writing, and I do want to continue through her backlist. And we'll see which series I pick up next after I finish this one. So those are all the books that I read in March. I hope you guys had a better reading month than I did. But it's not that bad at the end of the day. I mean, I'm reading books. I'm enjoying my hobby. And it leaves room for me to find even more books that I like better. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me. If you did, please feel free to leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!